everyone, Erica Quadros here on You Can Grow It, and just like always, we're here to talk about really easy care plants that anyone can grow. Today I want to talk about some really neat ornamental grasses. Let's take a look. This right over here is a great grass, especially for someone who's never planted a grass before, and grasses normally love full sun, but this guy can take partial sun as long as it still gets a good chunk of sun. Its name is totem pole switchgrass. Now, switchgrasses are very tough grasses. They are actually native to North America, and what they pretty much usually offer is a nice blue-green color. They tend to be, very upright, and they have some nice little seed heads that they put out later in the summer, which can be an interest to birds later on in the season. And if you're a bird lover, birds sometimes like to even take shelter in the grasses, especially if you leave them up in the cooler months. And what's nice about this particular variety totem pole is if you're looking for a grass that gets tall and is very upright, this is the one for you. It has a very uniform, tight, upright habit. It's going to reach about 6 feet high and about 30 inches wide roughly, and it has just this beautiful blue-green color here, and just a great grass. And because it gets tall, you can use it in an area of your garden where you're looking for some height and plant some lower things around it. It'll really stand out. It's a beautiful grass. And once again, overall the ornamental grasses are looking for full sun, nice well-drained soil. So a really great grass to plant. We're going to go over and check out another grass. It's one of my favorites. It's another switchgrass. I'm a big fan of them just because I said they're really easy, especially for people that don't have full sun. They will perform in partial sun as well, but this is a real nice beauty, especially if you're looking for something that stays a little smaller and is more compact. This grass over here is Cheyenne Sky. It's a beautiful grass. We did get a really bad storm here a couple days ago, with really high winds, super heavy rain. So you may notice that the grass has a little bit of it is spread out a little bit there. So normally it'll be a little bit tighter, but she's pretty much recovered from the storm for the most part. But the reason I say this is a great grass is because, it's also a switchgrass. So it's very hardy, native to North America. And what's special about it is that it only gets about 3.5 feet high roughly, and about maybe 30 inches wide roughly. Could get a little wider than that, but it's a nice short grass. Same thing, upright habit, but she is a little more bushier because of her height and width compared to the last one I just showed you. And what's really nice about this variety is that it has I don't know if you can see, but it has some really nice red variegation in the foliage, and it's going to take on more of that as the summer progresses. We're in early July right now. So as the season goes along, you're going to see more red. It has beautiful flower panicles on top, and they're going to get a little more red as well. And what's nice about this variety is if you're looking for a grass that you can put in a container, this is a great grass for that. As you can see, I do have mine in a container, and I have some petunias planted on the outside of it. It's getting so big I could probably pull them out, but this is a great grass if you're just looking to put one in a container and kind of move it around in different spots in your yard. And then at the end of the season, if you'd like, you can plant it. And if you're not going to plant it in the ground, like I talked about before with some shrubs, anything you're overwintering in a pot, get it out of the exposure and put it in a protected place for the winter, whether it's a garage, a barn that's unheated, chop it down, throw some mulch over it, then bring it back out in the spring. And definitely make sure it's in a pot that drains. That's really important, and that the pot is big enough so that it does not get root bound. But same thing, full sun, part sun, but sun most of the day, well-drained soil, a great, easy variety to grow. We're going to go out back and we're going to take a look at some other grasses. Summer's a great time to have grasses in your yard. It looks really great. There's so many different varieties, so many different sizes, and they're great companion plants with other perennials or shrubs. I think they look great with hydrangeas or coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, butterfly bush. So let's take a look at another one. If you're looking for a more dwarf grass, even more dwarf than the last one I showed you, something that's just mounding, that's going to give you a nice color, this is a really neat one here. This right over here is a blue fescue grass. I got a weed here in the way. Let's get that out of the way so you can see better. This is a really nice grass. It stays really low. It's just a little mounding grass. It has a cool blue color, and it stays icy blue through the season, just like that. You can see its neat little flower heads right there too. They're super cute. This grass is really only going to get between about 10 to 12 inches high and wide. So it's going to stay nice and compact. So if you're looking for something for like the front border of your garden, this is a nice plant. As you can see, that's kind of where I have it in my garden. It's more towards the front. And back to the design, the colors, as we talk about sometimes, you can see the blue grass, then behind it there's that nice orange adobo echinacea that we've talked about in one of our other videos. So it makes a nice contrast, and I have it planted with some sedum around it. So, nice companion plants, things that also bloom in the summer. So then it really brings out that beautiful blue contrast. And if you're wondering, you can also have this grass in a pot as well. This grass, unlike the switchgrass, it's not going to tolerate partial sun as well. This is really a real deal full sun grass. It's going to want full sun, nice well-drained soil, and if we're having a drought, obviously give it some water, but it's really it's gonna want that hot sun. It looks really great in rock gardens. There's so many things that you can do with this great little grass. It's such a neat little grass, so it's definitely something that I use in designs and that I obviously have in my own garden. Let's go take a look at a different type of grass. So some of these grasses, we're going to go on this side here. So some of these grasses, they're not really at their prime time of the season where they're looking, I guess, their best. So some of these, they're still growing, they're still filling out, they're still developing, or they haven't developed yet. They're little flowers that sometimes turn colors, and their foliage may turn color. So we'll go over all that. But let me show you this next one. It's really neat. This grass over here is called the Desert Plains Fountain Grass. Now, fountain grasses, the family of fountain grasses are also called Pennisedum. They're really nice grasses when you're looking for a nice fountainous habit. So they do arch out. They have that nice fountainous look. There's all different varieties and sizes of them. This particular variety is going to get about 3 to 4 feet high and wide. And what's neat about this one is that it's going to get its little flowers on it, and they're kind of like a bottle brush shape, which is real cool. They start off kind of reddish purple, and then as the season progresses, it'll get a neat tan color to it, and then the foliage itself will take on different shades of orange, red, gold as we get later on in the season, more towards fall. So same thing. This grass, some people who don't know much about grasses, they may overlook them at first, but something like this, You know, you pair it with some really nice summer blooming plants, and it gives you that really nice summer to fall color that can be really hard to find, especially the later in the season you get. It is hard to find nice color. So this is an excellent variety of a grass. I would say the fountain grasses are a little bit tolerant to less sun as well, kind of similar to the switchgrass. The switchgrass is going to be the #1 winner when it comes to taking less sun. So same thing, you're going to want to try to aim for as much sun as possible. But, you know, don't worry if you don't have full sun morning till evening. As long as you get a good chunk of sun throughout the day, this grass should be happy. Same thing as always, nice, well-drained soil. Grasses like this can also look really great near ponds, water features, because of the habit and the way that its flowers look. It's really neat. But once again, you know, I have it amongst some other things that are, you know, kind of summer blooming and looking good, some nice hot colors, but it's such a great variety. We're going to move on to another grass, totally different family, but depending on what kind of design you're looking to do, this might be the grass for you. The next grass we're going to look at is the Carl Forster featherreed grass. Now, once again, we had that bad storm, so these grasses, they're a little bit, you know, floppy. They're not quite as upright as they should be, but I am surprised for the beating that they took at how good they look right now. But basically, if you're looking for a grass that's really upright and slender, this is a nice grass for you. The featherreed grasses, as you can see, they just have a really cool look, the way they sway in the wind. They're going to get about, I want to say, you know, roughly 4 feet tall, and then on top of that they get their you know, flower heads there, and then so they'll, you know, you'll get another foot or so amongst that. And as the season progresses, they get a little more tan, so they show really nicely. They started off a little more green when they first emerged, and this grass is, you know, probably only going to get about, I want to say maybe like 18 inches wide or so. They can get a little wider than that as they mature, but really this is a nice upright grass that you can do so much with this. This grass can stand out in the open. This can also be a nice grass near you know, certain water features, maybe more towards the drier areas. As you can see, I have a little decoration there of a little wetland bird that would look to be happy in its home. But this is a nice grass that if you want to do, you know, a grouping of them, like I have 3 here, it gives you kind of like that nice, you know, almost elegant look of having those 3 like that. It looks real neat because they're so upright. But same thing, I mean, there's a lot you can do with this. This grass likes full sun. Same thing, well-drained soil. I think it looks cool in just a variety of different settings. Like I said, I mean, you know, it could be somewhere near a pond, but it could also be an area that kind of looks drier. Over here where I have some blue stone down, and it's kind of more of a drier setting. And obviously, like all the grasses, if it's super dry and we're having a drought, please water them, take good care of them. But otherwise, this is why I'm showing them to you, because they're so easy and they're great, and they offer such really neat color, just something different to look at. Their height, their texture, it's just something that should really be in, I feel like, everyone's landscape. We're gonna go take a look at one more grass. You can tell I love grasses, and once again, I love them because they're easy. That's what this whole channel is about, easy plants. I want everyone to know that they can plant, it's easy, anyone can do it. So the next one we're going to take a look at suffered a little abuse here, and I'll get into that, and I'll get into why you need to avoid what I did. Even people who've been doing this for a while still make mistakes. This grass over here, same thing, I got some weeds we haven't mowed in a little bit. This is a great grass. This is a very common grass that landscapers tend to use in either commercial landscapes, just, regular homeowners landscapes. Very, very popular grass that is often used. This is the Gracilis maiden grass. Now, the maiden grass is comprised of a family that is grasses that most of them get pretty big. So there are dwarf varieties, but this guy is going to get about 6 feet high and about, I want to say about 5-6 feet wide. It goes out and it kind of has an arching habit, and it has these really nice fine blades. So what's nice about these fine blades that you see is that when we have bad storms, like I mentioned, that kind of, broke apart some of the grasses that we were looking at before, this grass usually never suffers from that because it has such a fine, thin blade, and it's a little more sturdy. It seems like the thicker blades suffer more from storms and heavy rain. So that's one thing to keep in mind if that's something that is on your mind about putting a grass in your yard. So what's neat about this as well is that it fills out, it gets big, it looks great amongst like big paniculata hydrangeas, roses, evergreens. I mean, it's a great grass. And then more towards fall, it's gonna get these really fuzzy flower heads, or plumes, you could call it, and they're really eye-catching. And same thing, back to the wildlife, birds will eat the seeds from it. So it is nice to keep it up through the winter if you can, because they will eat the seeds, they will take shelter in the grass. But it looks so showy and it's beautiful. Now, where I went wrong here, as I started off telling you before we took a look at this beauty, is the mistake I made is that I planted this grass in the middle of my yard. Now, the grass itself was okay with that, but the one who mows the lawn at my house was not. So because it's a grass, and when it's growing out of the ground and emerging, it looks like the other grass, it got mowed over a few times. So I ended up having to cone it off when the lawnmower was out until it reached a tall enough size that it would be more noticeable that it's an ornamental and not part of the lawn, so not to run it over. And now it's high enough so that, that's known. But if it wasn't chomped down by the lawnmower, it would have probably already been another maybe 2 feet high or so. But that's okay. It's a little stunted, but it's going to be okay. So lesson learned, I'm no longer going to put grasses or any shrubs in my yard if they're not in a bed. So for those of you who are starting out to garden, it can be tempting to just find a plant that you like, whether it's a shrub, a perennial, a grass, and just say, oh, I love this here. I'm just going to put it here and it's going to look great. Really, you need to create a bed, even if it's just a single bed for that single plant and that's it. Or if you want to incorporate other plants around it, just because, like I said, it's really hard for the people who are mowing the lawn to have to work around these things, and then they have to weed whack, and then it damages the plant. So it's better for the plant, it's safer for the plant. Put your plants in beds. Don't put them in the middle of your lawn. So anyways, that's going to sum it up for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I love grasses, especially this time of year. They're great, and there's so much you can do with them. There's all different sizes, as you saw, and there's so many more grasses out there too. These are just some of the ones I really like. And, just keep in mind, some of these taller ones I showed you, they can be used as, tall borders, low borders, some privacy screens. Just one thing to keep in mind is that come winter, they're going to either get brown or you might cut them back. So that's not going to give you really like winter or early spring privacy if you're going to use it for that. So I like to combine it with other things like evergreens or woody shrubs that'll at least leave their structure so that it gives me some privacy. If I'm going to incorporate it in a bed that I want a little privacy, from neighbors or from the road. So. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out my next video, and I'll see you guys next time. And remember, you can do it, anyone can do it, and I'm here to help. Have a great day, guys. Bye.